Most urban gardeners think their problem is space. It isn't. The real problem is low-density soil that simply can't support serious food production. I've seen it over and over again. People building beautiful raised beds, filling them with fluffy bagged soil, planting tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, and then wondering why the plants stall out halfway through the season. The soil looks good, but it isn't biologically dense enough to sustain aggressive plant growth. When the microbial life and nutrient density aren't there, plants spend more time surviving than producing. The truth is, if you're growing food in limited space, every square foot has to work harder. Urban gardens, balcony systems, raised beds, and even hydroponic setups all benefit from one thing: most growers ignore high-density soil biology. That's the soil hack we're going to talk about today, and it's something I've tested across backyard beds, container systems, and hydroponic setups with very consistent results. Before we go deeper, if you're into practical growing strategies that actually improve harvests, go ahead and subscribe to the Farm Logic channel. Most of what we talk about here is focused on real production gardening, not decorative gardening advice. The mistake most gardeners make is confusing fluffy soil with productive soil. Walk into any garden center and you'll see bags of premium raised bed mix. It looks great. Light texture, drains well, easy to plant in. But most of those mixes are mostly peat, coco coir, and perlite. Structurally that's fine, but biologically it's almost empty. There's very little microbial life and very little long-term nutrient cycling happening. What ends up happening is that plants burn through available nutrients within a few weeks. The gardener compensates with constant fertilizer applications, which temporarily boosts growth but never actually builds soil fertility. High-density soil works differently. Instead of relying on external feeding, the soil becomes a nutrient factory. Microbes break down organic matter continuously, releasing nutrients exactly when plants need them. That's why a small raised bed with high biological density can outperform a much larger garden filled with sterile soil mixes. So, the real high-density soil hack is actually building active compost biology directly into your soil system. In practical terms, that means your soil isn't just a planting medium anymore. It's an ecosystem. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, earthworms, all of them working together to convert organic matter into plant-available nutrients. One of the fastest ways to achieve that density is, honestly, through thermophilic compost integration. Instead of waiting, 6 months for compost to mature slowly in a pile, you build a hot compost system that rapidly multiplies beneficial microbes, and then introduce that material into your beds in controlled amounts. In a typical backyard compost pile, temperatures should climb into the range of 130 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That heat, it really signals intense microbial activity. Those microbes are what ultimately power soil fertility. And in a small urban garden, even a compost pile the size of a trash can produce enough biological activity to dramatically change soil performance. And this is where a lot of gardeners run into trouble. They try to compost blindly. Temperature matters more than most people realize. If your pile never gets above about 110 degrees, decomposition stays slow and microbial diversity stays low. On the other hand, if temperatures spike above 165 degrees and stay there too long, beneficial organisms start dying off. Serious composting requires monitoring. When I'm managing compost for garden beds, I use a long probe thermometer to check internal temperatures regularly, something like the Rio temp 20-inch backyard compost thermometer works well because the probe is long enough to reach the center of a pile where the real activity happens. It gives a quick reading so you know whether the microbes are actually working or if the pile needs more nitrogen, moisture, or airflow. If you're curious about that tool, I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out. It's not mandatory equipment, but it definitely removes the guesswork if you're serious about building high-quality compost. Once compost is biologically active, the next step is integrating it properly into dense growing systems. A mistake I see often is gardeners adding huge amounts of compost all at once. That can actually cause problems, especially in containers or raised beds. What works better is layered integration. In a typical 12-inch raised bed profile, I'll mix about 1 part finished compost into 4 parts base soil. That ratio keeps soil structure balanced while still introducing a massive microbial population. For example, in a 4x8 raised bed holding roughly 32 cubic feet of soil, adding around 6 to 8 cubic feet of finished compost creates a highly active growing environment without compacting the soil. Once that base layer is established, additional compost gets added gradually as top dressing throughout the growing season. This keeps the microbial engine running continuously. High-density soil also changes how roots behave. In low-biology soil, roots grow cautiously, exploring for nutrients. But in dense microbial soil, roots grow aggressively because nutrients are constantly being mineralized around them. You'll notice thicker root systems, faster canopy growth, and more consistent fruit production. I've seen tomato plants in biologically dense beds push 6 to 7 feet tall while producing heavily for months without additional fertilizer. The exact same varieties planted in low-density soil barely reached 4 feet. Now let's talk about how this concept translates into container gardens. Containers are actually perfect environments for high-density soil because you control everything. For a 5-gallon container, I typically start with a mix of about 60% high-quality potting mix, 30% compost, and 10% aeration material like pumice or perlite. That compost percentage is higher than most recommendations, but when the compost is biologically active, plants respond incredibly well. Just make sure the compost is fully matured before using it in containers. Fresh hot compost can damage roots. Hydroponic growers can also apply this principle even though there's technically no soil involved. In hydroponics, the equivalent of soil biology is microbial inoculation. Beneficial bacteria and fungi help stabilize nutrient solutions, protect roots from pathogens, and improve nutrient uptake efficiency. In deep water culture systems, adding microbial inoculants can dramatically reduce root rot problems while increasing nutrient absorption. It's essentially the same biological engine, just operating in water instead of soil. The main point here is that serious gardeners should stop thinking about soil as an inert material and start thinking about biological density per square foot. Urban growers don't have acres to spread nutrients across. Every raised bed, container, or hydroponic reservoir has to operate at maximum biological efficiency. That's why compost quality matters so much. A single cubic foot of well-managed compost can contain billions of microorganisms capable of transforming soil productivity. When that biological engine is running properly, the garden becomes more resilient. Plants tolerate stress better, pest pressure often decreases, and yields become more consistent. It's one of the few gardening strategies that scales across every type of growing system. Whether you're running a balcony container garden, a backyard raised bed system, or a small hydroponic setup, increasing biological density will almost always improve results. And the best part is that it doesn't require expensive inputs. It just requires understanding how soil ecosystems actually function. If you found this useful and want more practical strategies like this, real techniques that improve yields instead of just making gardens look good, Subscribe to the Farm Logic YouTube channel and share this video with another gardener who's serious about growing better food. Because once you understand how to build dense, living soil, even the smallest garden can produce like a much larger farm.